Okay, welcome. Here we are. I should actually start this video off the way all YouTube videos begin, the traditional way to start a YouTube video. Hey guys, what's up? Hey guys, what's up? Hey guys, what's up? Please like and subscribe. If you like paintings of bald heads with leaf beak noses, you're going to want to like and subscribe to this channel. Again, when I say these are tutorials, they are, but in the loosest sense. You're not going to get. There's a million. Well, not a million, but there's many great teachers. There are many great teachers on YouTube teaching techniques, color theory, how to paint this specific thing, how to paint that specific thing. So I'm going to leave that to them. You know, with my videos, we're talking more about the miracle of painting, the mental, spiritual process, exercise that is painting. Endless decisions being made in a split second. Push that forward, pull that back. Never worry. If it looks like shit. All that means is it's not finished yet. That's all. The thing with oil paints is you just set it aside at a certain point. Come back to it later. Start working on it again. It's one of the reasons I'd recommend to anybody painting, anybody who likes to paint, have 3, 4, 30 or 40 paintings going at the same time. Have a dozen. Have a bunch of different sizes. Have them going at the same time. Then you set one aside, you work on a different one. One of the great tricks of painting is to never overthink. Like I said in my last video, and I'll repeat myself many times throughout these videos, one of the things I said in the last video is that one of the things I said in the last video was that in order to get started, you never want to wait for inspiration. Never. Just got to get going. Inspiration comes through perspiration. You know, when I get started on a painting session, I'll look at the painting for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and I'll make a mental list of things I could start on, you know. I might look at this painting and go, okay, let's work on this one face, or let's work on establishing depth. Let's work on making these, putting grass in some place. You know, I mean, I'm not working on grass right now, obviously, in this painting, but you know, if you're going to do like blades of grass, you know, you could sit there and just like, let's just put in a bunch of blades of grass for a while. But you just make that list of things that need to get done, and then you just start. You don't sit around belly aching about it. Another thing is you never want to be too precious about any part of the painting. It's always about the whole. The whole, the complete composition is the thing. Its elements, its parts are not important. It doesn't matter how good one little part of a painting is if the entire thing doesn't work, or if that one good part doesn't serve the greater composition, then it's got to go. Like this face over there next to the chimney hopper thing or whatever that is on the train there, on that little figure, whatever that thing is. That face next to it that looks like, I don't know, an old man. Like, I don't know if I like that, you know? I don't know if I like, you know, making the choice to have a face staring directly at the viewer, if that's what this guy's doing. That's like a big decision, because immediately your eyes go to that. And is that where I want the eyes to go? Maybe. Maybe not. One of the powerful things about the gaze is that you either get sucked into it or you follow it where it's leading. This thing's super mushy looking at this point. There's a bigger picture. This painting is about, I don't know, 5 feet across. Well, there's me, so you get to see like size. I'm about 6 feet tall, so a little over 6 feet, 6'2", I think. So you get the feel for how big the painting is. You got these two main characters, the woman, elf kind of woman in the left-hand side. She looks like she's throwing balls from one hand to another. And you got this kind of demonic looking man who looks like he's tossing balls into that hopper, maybe. That basket, that funnel. Those are the two main figures. I like the way those figures look in terms of their physique, their proportions. Pretty good. I'm seeing something right now that I don't like. You see like where the guy, that demon type figure in the middle there is wearing, well, I'm blocking him now, but he's wearing kind of a skirt. You notice how, God, I'm really blocking this thing a lot, aren't I? Get to look at my back a lot. Doesn't matter. These will get more dialed in. This is a pretty bad perspective. You really just aren't even seeing. Doesn't matter though. Who cares? Okay, you see how like the train, this is ridiculous. Like I just put a clown nose on that face. That was a decision that I did not think about at all. I just kind of put in that nose and then it turned into a clown nose and suddenly that guy's looking like a clown instead of like a Roman senator or whatever. Now maybe he'll be a clown. You see, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. The inspiration comes in the doing. The cool little mistakes that aren't mistakes at all. Okay, anyways, what I was talking about was, you see how that guy's skirt and the line of the bottom of the train, which you'll see in a second. See how they match up perfectly? Well, God damn it. You see how they match up perfectly? The line of the bottom of the train and the skirt. You don't want that unless you want that. You don't want that. That's a big thing you're looking for in compositions, whether you're taking a photo or making a painting or whatever. You know, it's not just the person you're taking a picture of, for instance, if you're taking a picture of a person, it's that person's relationship to the background, right? You don't want a line intersecting right where the mouth is, because then it looks like the mouth extends out. It just looks awkward and weird. You don't like, it's not good. You want to have those things not match up. So that's something, for instance, that I would change. You can see it right there, the upper part of that yellow-orange thigh. Matches with that foggy line of the train. There I am crisping these forms. That's a good activity. I like hard lines in my paintings. I'm very into Northern Renaissance painting. I like a hard, crisp edge where it's suited. I don't know what my thing is with numbers and letters. It's just in there. I think it's something from taking mushrooms a lot throughout my life, in the past especially. Letters, letter forms, numbers, strange symbols, they're just cool looking. And also, you know, these paintings are like, you know, these are surreal, fantastical, visionary paintings. And yet everything in them is the stuff we see all around us. You know, you walk outside your door wearing a mask, wearing gloves, full body condom, ideally. But if you walk out your door, you're going to see plants, plant forms, you're going to see people, you're going to see faces, you're going to see letters, numbers, you're going to see gadgets, cables, wires, cars. I mean, as far out as a lot of my paintings are, it's just the stuff of life arranged in a dreamlike arrangement. I don't typically focus so much on one part of a painting. I tend to kind of focus on a part of a painting when I'm filming, when I'm videoing. That glare is not good, but again, I'm not trying to do these perfect. You know, you can hop into my comments and say how shitty these videos are because I don't learn anything. There's no, you know, talk about techniques. How do you do this? How do you do that? I don't care. These are not the goal of these tutorials is not to do anything more than provide a good hang with an experienced artist. You know, I've been making art many decades. Music, painting, sculpting, stand-up comedy, performance of various kinds, videos. TraegerMethod over on Instagram. A lot of short videos over there. Yeah, I've been at this for a really long time. I've got some, I'm just assuming that if I talk about my process, something of use will come up. Working on this piece of tape or strap, whatever it is coming out of the dispenser there. And like, you know, if these aren't, there I'm putting in some symbols on the tape. See that? It's just coming in there. I'm just making that up as I go. There's no plan. You know, a lot of things you put into a composition are placeholders or Um, you know, you work from general to specific, typically. You know, here's a block. Down the road, that block might be patterned. It might have a pattern on it. It might have something carved into it. It might be a stone block. It might be a wood block. But at a certain point in a painting, it might be fine to just have it be a blank block. A sphere can turn into a head very easily. You know what I mean? This guy's getting some, his eyes are getting pink. Another thing that's really important with painting is to look at the thing you're working on up close and look at it far away. You know, if you have a big studio, you're working outdoors or whatever, you can step way back, look at it. I don't have that luxury, but I do have a cell phone. I have an iPad. I can take pictures and look at that. There's a face up there above the hopper. You see that? Looking away. See how my hand jumps around? I'll be working in one spot, then it'll go over to, that's another thing about, then it'll go to another place. That's another thing that I really like is if you have the color on your brush, the color probably fits all over the composition in a lot of different places. So you just want to kind of dance around. And of course, there's different phases of a painting's process. You know, this one is at a particular place where it's, you know, fairly well resolved, the basic structure. It's not going to be any massive changes, but it's far from being complete. It's far from being done, resolved completely. It'll be in play for quite some time. One of the keys with any artistic pursuit is to try to enjoy all the phases of it. I mean this in the biggest sense and in the smallest sense. Like for instance, if you're, like I was doing stand-up comedy for many years, you know, when you start out, it's one thing. When you're 5 years in, it's another. When you're 8 years in, it's another. And I'm sure when you're 20 years in, I didn't do it that long, but when you do it that long, you know, it's going to be different. It's different at all times. And one of the tricks is to enjoy all the phases. You know, when you're a year in, yeah, you're going to be striving to be better. You're going to have huge ups and downs, most likely. Those stripes going in there. See, I'm turning that block into bricks, maybe stripes at least. But what I was saying was, you know, there's no point in being like, oh, I'm a year in, this sucks because I'm not good and everybody's so much better. And, you know, I can't wait to be better. I can't wait to be better. It's like, well, you're only ever going to start out once. So enjoy that. And that's the same thing with painting, you know, like an actual just one work of art. You go, you know, you don't look at a blank canvas and splash some initial, you know, paint on it and go, well, this sucks because I'm so far from the end. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, it starts out like that. And then you enjoy the middle and you enjoy the end and you enjoy putting the final little last dots on a painting and highlights, you know, and it's all pleasurable. I mean, I do obviously, yeah, you enjoy that final stage maybe a little more when it's coming into crisp view and you're starting to go like, this is a painting that I want to show people. Yeah, that's a pretty pleasing stage, but they're all interesting and good in their own way. You don't want to leapfrog any of the stages. They're all important and they're all interesting. And it's also another reason, like I said earlier, have a ton of paintings going so that, well, you know, you can have several nearing finish, several just beginning, another bunch at the midway point. You're going to have ones that you love, you're excited about, ones that you're not so excited about. They're all very important. and necessary. But there's no one way to do anything, and there's no, see my mullet? That's my plague mullet, I call it. I bought some clippers prior to the pandemic, and luckily, I've been cutting my own hair, shaving just the sides of my head. Feels great. I love that feeling of freshly shaved hair. Can't stop touching it. It's also like, during the plague, you're not trying to really impress anybody. At least I'm not. I guess I'm not really trying to impress anybody in normal times either. See this train thing? It's coming down through this chute. That arch going over it, those are made of hands. If you can't tell, they're like multicolored hands. I love painting hands. Maybe it's a show-off thing, but a lot of people will say that hands are super hard. I find them easy, actually, and really pleasurable to paint. And I feel like I'm good at it, which I've always been pretty good at drawing ever since I was a little kid. It was one of my first like innate skills is the ability to draw. That's why I think drawing and painting is my primary art. I know it is. I mean, I feel like I'm only now good at guitar. That's like, after 30 something years of playing guitar. With painting and drawing, I've always been pretty decent at it. See that? I'm just kind of highlighting those clouds back there. There's like a cloud bank trying to keep a radiant light coming through there. This weird arch. I don't know what that is. Why not? Maybe it'll be a rainbow. Maybe it'll be a rainbow. Not sure. You don't have to be sure. Most important thing is to find out through working, putting in the hours. There's no other activity where time flies faster than for me than for painting. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I'll start out, I'll think, okay, let's paint for a few hours. And then suddenly it's 6 in the morning and I've been at it for 14 hours straight. And you go, okay, that's interesting. I love that feeling. It's flow state, they call it. Flow state. Actually, narrating this video makes me want to get painting right now. I think I'm going to as soon as I'm done with this. It's almost like, how can you not? There's like a crowd of people back there. You see that? I don't know if you can even see up in the corner. Well, I'm sure you can't. But right there, I'm putting like highlights on the heads of this bluish cloud of people. A crowd, a cloud. What did I say? It's a crowd, but it also looks kind of like a cloud. Whatever. All right, so that, well, there's a few more minutes to go. What's the story of this painting? That I really don't know. It's definitely not a straightforward narrative. It's a dream logic. But then life has a dream logic, doesn't it? What the hell is happening? Here we go. Oh, this is insane. This is my head view. I got a mount, forehead mount from my phone. This does not work in terms of fast motion, the time lapse, very manic. But it shows you a little about how I approach the palette. Always dipping back in. You see that's where the nose is started. Yeah, this isn't of much use, I don't think, because it's so manic and insane. Okay. But it's a fun little add-on there. Look at that, the underlit shadows. That's kind of cool. Like that? Yeah. Like, color theory right there. You got yellow and purple. They're complementary. Therefore, a purple shadow for a yellow body. Always a winning combo. Every rule in painting is made to be broken, of course, but those rules are there for a reason. They exist for a reason. Oops, can't really see that, but I was doing the light on the top of the skull. That's pleasing. Kind of has an illustrator. He's turning into kind of a half man. I don't know what he was. All right, well, switching brushes, going to a different brush. Let's just finish this out. We'll get to the 30-minute mark. And I always have to tell myself, no one's forcing anyone to watch this stuff. Nobody's like, you must spend a half hour looking at this. Of course not. I assume when I put anything out on the internet, I'm like, yeah, 5 people. That's a good turnout for anything. Like I'll do a Instagram post. I have, I don't know, 1,500 followers. Of the 1,500, I don't know who sees my stuff or not, algorithms. But, I'll typically get 150 views. That's probably actually pretty good. 90 to 120 views is average, probably. And then of those 120 views, I'm like, there's a hand right there. See that hand coming into view? That's pretty cool. Of those 150 views, most of them are probably for a second. Then as far as like reading the caption, watching the 1-minute video, the whole 9 yards, less than a handful typically. Actually, once recently I put a little note in the caption saying, if you have read this caption, please just put an emoji of any kind in the comments. I want to get a feel for how many people actually read these captions. And I believe I had something like 8, 10 people maybe put an emoji in the comments. So I was pretty close saying, I put a video out. I assume there's about, out of my 1,500 followers, I'm going to assume there's about 10 who actually look at a thing and take it in on some level. And I have no complaint about that. I mean, I flip through Instagram the way everybody else does. I'll just scoot through it, barely pay attention to most of the stuff. Hit like on things I literally spend seconds looking at. Reading captions, forget it. Hardly ever. So, I'm never upset if nobody looks at my shit. Who cares? That's just not important. But please like and subscribe. I mean, in all seriousness, like, why not? Like and subscribe, if you will. If you like this content, like and subscribe. If you want more of this, or you believe in it,